Behind the scenes of the horror movies. In the movie The Nun, the director decided to flood the entire set, and the reason is surprising. One of the most striking scenes in the film is when the protagonist escapes from the nun underwater. What catches attention is that no special effects were used in the water. The director simply decided he wanted to make that scene as realistic as possible and flooded the set, so all the settings are entirely real. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, you know how intense this scene is, but what you don't know is that it's real. It took an entire week to complete, and the actress had to train exhaustively with safety supports and cables that would be removed in post-production. But the most incredible part is that when she encounters Vecna on the other side, it was all real. The series creators wanted everything to be very realistic, so they used little CGI. They had to create everything, even the bodies on the floor. But if this scene was too real, the movie Chuck went in the opposite direction. In fact, the demon puppet was a robot and caused a big problem. Censure demon. It was very challenging to control the puppet, which needed to be operated by several professionals and still had to hide all the cables. To give you an idea, whenever something went wrong in the recording, everything had to be redone from scratch. For other scenes, like when the puppet catches fire, they had to hire little people and ask them to wear a costume of the puppet. But don't worry, no one set them on fire. The flame was added in post-production. The worst part is that they still couldn't make it look realistic, and it was much scarier without the skin. But some people have a talent for it, and what this movie did is surprising. In the movie It, no special effects were used. Partly, this was thanks to the actor who plays Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård managed to save millions for the studio with his ability to cross his eyes, which made the character even more incredible. Then they just had to hire a small actor for scenes where the clown shrank. They only needed a mask and someone shorter, and that's how one of the biggest horror movies of today was made. But in the past, studios didn't have the resources we have today, so they had to figure things out. One of the greatest examples of this is the classic Freddy Krueger films, which, due to budget constraints, had to come up with new ways to create their effects. The way this scene was made is simply ingenious. When Tina is attacked, she climbs up to the ceiling and starts leaving marks everywhere. What you didn't know is that, in reality, in this scene, the camera is upside down. Do you remember the scene where Freddy's claws come out of the bathtub? Turns out they didn't even need the actor to shoot that scene. The special effects guy had to hold his breath while in a water tank. But these weren't the only movies to create their special effects well. If you watched the movie The Ring, you surely were terrified by those demonic movements. But what you don't know is that they were entirely done by a stunt double. The only thing done by the computer was the effect coming out of the TV, all thanks to the flexibility of Bonnie Morgan, who managed to create these incredible scenes.